Alright, hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mast, and welcome back to another showcase of SkyRend. Like many people, the Oblivion Remastered has been keeping me distracted, but I'm trying to spend a little less time being distracted with Oblivion, spend a little more time working on the list, and I have gotten some pretty cool stuff implemented, really mostly over the past few days more than anything, as well as the day before. I think the remaster came out on a Tuesday, so I got one day after the last showcase to get some stuff implemented, but I've gotten quite a bit done. So we'll showcase some of that stuff. Nothing really graphically. We do have like dismembering framework and a new mod that goes with it that just released, which we'll showcase in a little bit. But we've got stances properly in, and we've got a lot of perks properly in as well. So let's go ahead and start off with stances. Stances do not have animations tied to them right now, and they probably, generally speaking, will not. And the reason for that is I'm planning to tie animations to skill level. So novice animations will be a little bit slow. Apprentice animations will be pretty standard, something like the Nordic animation moveset. And then adept will get a little faster and a little cleaner now that you start knowing what you're doing. And then perks will be able to unlock more specific animations for specific weapon types, especially as you get to a higher skill level like expert or master, which I think will be really cool. But stances do still affect animations because they affect attack speed. So water stance here is a standard balanced stance. Without any perks, it won't give you any benefits or any detriments. Fire stance increases your damage, and we can showcase these in the magic effects too as well, I guess. So water stance, basic, it's the default neutral stance. Fire stance right here. If we pull this up, I have a 1 perk point put into this, which we'll look at the perk soon. So this would start at 25% bonus damage, 25% more damage taken. Right now, because of that perk point, it's up to 35%, and there's actually a magic effect description in there to let you know that and remind you of it, which is cool. So fire stance, attack speed's going to stay the same, the animations are going to look the same, but this is a more volatile, aggressive stance. People who saw the last showcase, you'll probably remember we had beast stances in before. I've changed these to elemental stances because I think it's kind of clear what they're targeted for. And I think it makes them a little more iconic and cool. We're not actually tying in elemental damage, at least not at the moment. And if I do, that would be specific perks later on that needs a destruction level in it. It's kind of a cool way to tie in for spell blades. But for now, it's just kind of a way to make the stance kind of feel, I think more properly the stance, have a better identity to it. So wind stance, melee attacks are 25% faster, but deal 20% less damage. This might look like technically it's a little bit of a buff. The reason it's 25% versus the 20% damage reduction is technically when you do the math for it, that's how it actually equals out. So it starts a little bit higher than the damage dealt just because that's how it actually keeps the damage equal overall. But we're going to be a little swifter with our attacks. And then Earth Stance, it's going to feel a little bit weird dual wielding here. It's going to feel better with two-handed weapons generally. But your melee attacks deal 50% more stagger damage, but your attacks are 20% slower. This is probably going to get changed. It's probably going to go down to a 15% slower because these attacks do feel a decent amount slower. It actually doesn't look too bad with these animations. But it's a little bit too slow, a little bit too chunky for a lot of different movesets. So this will probably go down a little bit in terms of the attack speed slow. But Earth Stance is going to be something that intentionally slows you down in order for more stagger damage. So you can go for big hits and really kind of control combat in terms of, for like a MOBA term, crowd control with stagger. So that's the basic idea for the stances. I think they're pretty cool as they are. But if we go ahead and take a look at perk trees, can see a little sneak peek. I've been working on an unarmed tree this morning. Over to stances, I've started implementing all of the basic perks are actually in here, so you can upgrade each of these 5 times. And then I've started implementing perks beyond that as well. So while in water stance, your power attack stamina cost is reduced by 8%. I want the water tree to be very balanced, non-detrimental, and just focused on doing the thing better in a smooth way that would kind of be befitting for like water or a river or something like that. So for now, power attack stamina cost reduced by 8%. This will likely be general stamina attack cost once I either make a mod myself or you settle on something such as Blade and Blunt to add normal attack stamina cost as well. And make it kind of a stamina continuous, just frequent, unending sort of barrage of attacks type of tree where you're just allowed to do that more easily. Fire stance, you can see we've actually taken some perks right here. So while in fire stance, we started with 25% more damage each perk rank, and this adds another 10%. I kind of want to add even more than 10%, but it seems like it'll get too OP too fast, even though you do have that big downside of taking 25% more damage. So for now, this can go up to 75% bonus damage in fire stance. Then we've also got infernal strikes here. So while in fire stance, melee attacks receive an additional 10% penetration per rank, up to 30%. Combustion, while in fire stance, melee attacks deal 25% additional damage to enemies that are attacking, drawing a bow, or casting a spell. Burn it down, while in fire stance, your melee attacks deal 50% additional damage to enemies that are above 75% health. And then overheat, this I still need to work on. I can't tell if I need to script it or if I need to try and like set it up a little bit differently. but it unlocks a new power, Overheat, which is castable while in fire stance. This power inflicts 10 damage per second to the user for 15 seconds in exchange for 100% additional melee attack damage for 15 seconds. This I've still got to work on a little bit. I have barely played around with it. It does technically work to some degree. The damage part where you actually increase your damage works properly, but, and we can even pull up the power here on the side, Overheat right here. So it sort of works, but the damage part doesn't work. It doesn't have effect, so if I pop it right now... Wait, do I have it equipped? Oh, we're not in fire stance, are we? That's what it is. Hey, that means it works. Nice. We weren't in fire stance, so it didn't let me use it. Nice. But yeah, with Overheat here, when we cast it, right now it just does a little baby detriment to my maximum health bar. And that's it. It just decreases max HP. It's not like the kind of bleed type effect that I wanted to have it set up by. So I should be able, I'm assuming though, it's weird where it's like when it's self-cast, it doesn't work the same as when you're like targeting somebody. So like I'm basically using something similar to the bleed effect I have in other perks and it doesn't work the same. So I don't know if I need to actually script that or if I should just make it so it's a max HP nerf that's a lot bigger. So it's like, oh, you lose an entire 100 max HP, but you do way more damage for a little bit, something like that. So that'll still be a work in progress, but the damage portion does work. I think it's a cool idea, and I'll keep playing around with that and probably trying to implement some powers for other stances as well. I might not commit to doing powers per stances, but I thought it was kind of a cool idea. They'll probably have cooldowns as well, but I thought it was a cool idea that you can unlock something that feels like, oh shit, that kind of like boom type of moment, but having some sort of detriment so it's not just inherently broken and having that detriment actually fit the class. So it's just an idea I'm playing around with for now. But aside from that, what else should we be really taking a peek at? Probably the wind stance perks, and then also the other perks that I've been working on, and then a little bit of a combat showcase for really kind of the only series of mods that I've added in over the past few days. But wind stance, of course, we can upgrade it similar to fire stance right here. If I want to take it, we're getting 5% extra attack speed per rank. And then here, we've got some perks implemented already. All these perks here are actually like they actually do their thing. So if your target has less than 200 armor rating, this might sound a little silly at the moment. This is going to change soon. I'm going to be doing a big armor overhaul for Skyrim because the way it works is absolutely dumb. So the way it's going to work is basically 1000 armor rating would be 100% damage reduction. And then like every 10 would be 1% essentially. And then the plan is something like hide armor overall granting like a full set granting around 200, leather armor probably granting 250, studded 300, something like that. And then iron, starting with the heavy armor, would be like 400, steel 500, dwarven 600. Probably not quite as much, probably not that big of a boost between armor upgrades, but something like that, where heavy armor is significantly stronger right away, but it'll have bigger downsides. Light armor doesn't provide as much protection, but it still provides way more than vanilla to start. And then armor perks are not really related to just magically making your armor way better. So basically the idea is armor will actually do normal real life armor things where you just have a certain amount of damage reduction based on what you're wearing. And then we'll be able to see, like I brought up last week, we've got agility and endurance to replace light armor and heavy armor. And I've implemented a bunch of those, I think literally all of those perks. So Tornado, if your target has less than 200 armor, which would generally be applying to like beasts or a just very lightly armored enemy, then your melee attacks deal 25% more damage. You can upgrade this 3 times and we can make it all the way to 75% more damage. That might need a nerf. All of these will be very much potentially getting rebalanced and stuff like that. These are just kind of basic early implementations to play around with them. But I think it's a very cool idea where the idea is kind of like shreds of wind, right? Where it's like wind probably not going to penetrate too deeply, but if they're not armored enough, then you're just getting this crazy barrage of damage is the idea behind it. So we can upgrade that a ton. And this isn't going to actually be just the next upgrade. This is just going to be a side upgrade for it. But Violent Storm, Tornado now also applies to targets with 300 armor or less. And we can upgrade that a second time to be 400 armor or less. So that's kind of a cool thing to go along with it, where this perk down here, crazy strong against lightly armored enemies, but it's going to be hard to get it to proc, even against somebody just wearing a full set of light armor. And then this makes it so that it will work against a full set of light armor. And if we upgrade it yet again, it's even potentially working against like base level iron armor and stuff like that. So that's kind of the theme I've been working on for wind stance so far. I'm sure this time next week, I'll probably have a lot more stance perks implemented and ready to go for that. So weaponry has mostly stayed the same. We will actually be spending some perk points in it soon so that I can showcase a little animation idea I've got going, as I think I brought up earlier in the video. Endurance and agility, these perk trees should look the same. They're only partially implemented, but unlike last time, they're actually in. And there are actually a couple of perks that I had to take out because these perks are actually in there. A couple I learned I just straight up can't do. So, or at least can't do quite the way I want. So the ones that are missing aren't really ones that are too important. Let's see. What are the ones that are missing? One of them was an endurance, and it made it so that sprinting stamina cost was reduced. Skyrim handles sprinting stamina cost either weird or it just, oh yeah, it handles it weird. I don't remember what it was. It was dumb as hell. So the only way I'd be able to do that is give you stamina regen while you're sprinting. And that was a really easy way to make it bug out and make it so sprinting literally restores stamina. So I didn't do that. So that's just not going to be a thing. It's not that big of a deal. And then agility, I should have gone the other way around, huh? Agility has been implemented as well, and there was an agility perk related to this. This had 2 ranks, so it was going to be you can move somewhat faster with a bow, and then you can move at full speed with a bow. The way Skyrim handles it weird, you can just move full speed through this very weird mechanic that I don't even entirely understand that they implemented in the game, that is super tucked away, has a bizarre name. So like I just, you know, at least you can do that, but you can't do it partially. It's so funky. Like my plan originally was to make it a condition where it's like, oh, your speed increases when you're drawing a bow, but the game doesn't register it fast enough. Hypothetically, if I got into scripting for it, I could implement it, but it's probably not going to matter too much. So that's still in, just not to quite the degree I was hoping for. But then these are in. These are partially in because part of them are animation tied. So I haven't tied them to animations yet because I'm not like set on animations yet. But like the actual perks work fine. Only thing I would have to do is we get more weapon animations like actually implemented than just having conditions to those animations that tie them to perks. I know a lot of people are like, what the hell is this guy even yapping about right now? I know. Most people don't go in and mod perk trees, and I'm probably just like yapping about stuff that makes no sense. But I'm trying to kind of describe what I'm actually working on, even if it doesn't make sense. So yeah, agility and endurance, much more implemented. Still going to need to create more perks for those trees. Stance is starting to get implemented. Let's go ahead and showcase a couple of animation ideas I've got. Oh, and before we do that, let's actually look at the unarmed tree. This I literally just set up this morning. This is just an idea. I haven't created the actual full perks yet. They don't have effects yet, but it'll be very easy to implement these perks. Something I wanted to run by you guys is I had this, I think, really cool idea where it starts from a basic perk like normal, but then normal races that do not have claws would be going to the left, and these perks literally could not be taken by the claw races, Argonians, and Khajiit. But then on the right, we have claw perks, and they would actually be pretty significantly different, and I think I kind of cooked for some of the ideas here. Man, this one's being dumb. It doesn't matter. This is like a literal, I made this literally for the showcase, so it doesn't matter that much. So if we level Pummel here, I guess we don't really need to level it for it. It's not going to be too important. But the idea is unarmed attacks go up in damage as you rank this up from 15% up to eventually 75%. But then if we go to the right here for Argonian / Khajiit races, unarmed attacks, razor claws, deal bleed damage per second for 5 seconds to enemies with 200 armor rating or less. Of course, with the idea being that if the claws can't penetrate the armor, then they're not applying that bleed, but they can still do general damage. But what do we have here? Shred armor. Unarmed attacks reduce enemy armor rating for 30 seconds by 25. And then if we upgrade this again, it goes to 50. So the idea is you are literally tearing through your armor. Like there's got to be some badass Wolverine perk or Wolverine scene or something from one of the Wolverine movies at some point. That could be an example of that, just cutting through iron. So that's kind of the idea with this, which I think is cool. But then of course, like a Nord wouldn't be able to shred through armor, but a Nord would be more likely to actually punch and kick with actual power. And so that's what I was doing over here, where Stone Fist increases stagger damage, and then unarmed attacks slow enemies and reduce their damage dealt. Yes, I did the discombobulate meme because I thought it was fitting. So it reduces damage dealt and slows enemies for 5 seconds, and it stacks. So the idea is you're kind of similar to stagger, but not actually stagger, just straight up like punishing an enemy, making it harder for them to fight back for at least a short period of time and continuing to stack that up if you're getting multiple blows in. And then up here, I guess this will make it a little easier for me. Since I fucked up the implementation, I guess, is we can grab some new animations and showcase a little bit of what that'll look like as we get relevant animation perks. So, unarmed animations. Right now, these should be one of Smooth's animation sets. And if we go ahead and level into this barrage, let me see if it'll actually work right now. I guess it should work. We've got a different animation set that's going to be a lot fancier, a lot more extreme. Getting crazy with it. Yeah. So normally I'm probably not going to try and go too over the top with fantasy-like animations. These could be more extreme than they are. And if we're going to have them, they probably are going to be at an expert or a master level rank and just be optional. You won't have to have them. That's something I wanted to implement as well. And so I think they're pretty fucking cool, man. I think they're pretty sick. So this is something that I have an idea for, and we can do a similar thing with one-handed here if we go ahead and level that up. Is we can unlock perks that'll do that. Any perks that provide animations will also come with benefits. It won't just be, ooh, I unlocked a cool moveset. You will also be able to actually get some sort of thing to go with it, like just more damage, more attack speed, something like that. So we go all the way up here. Again, temporary perk that I'm just implementing for the showcase here. Let me go back. We've already looked a little bit at it, although that might have been dual wield animations. So if we whip out a sword, again, this is one of the smooth movesets. And if we go ahead and level into this perk, we unlock the fancy sword moveset, which I will call something else if I keep it. But I even named the perk Regal Blade. So this is much more like spinny, flourishy type of moveset that's going to be a lot more extreme. And again, I'm not sure that I'll actually be implementing movesets that are this fancy, even at the Expert Master rank. You guys can let me know right now what you think of that. If you really like it, if you're not a fan of it being this over the top. Again, it's not nearly as over the top as it can be. We're not going to be getting like anime absurd movesets or anything like that in the list. But I do think if you're getting to a really high skill level, allowing some of the more extreme stuff like this is fine. And it's just an optional perk anyways. It's not like you'll have to take it. You can keep with a more grounded moveset if you'd rather. But it's at least an idea to show off early on here. Is that that's something you'll be able to work towards potentially, which I think is pretty cool. So aside from that, let's murder some people, man. Let's murder some people. Let's show off. I don't even know for sure. It should be working properly. I haven't really tested it yet. I put it in this morning. Dismembering framework is in. What is it called? Core Impact Framework, Dismembering Framework, in a very new mod by the author of Dismembering Framework. That mod is incredible, by the way. Let's murder a wolf. Yeah, so we've got... I'll probably have to tweak the sound effects. Is a little extreme right now. It's called... Sankophant Symphony, right? I think it's a very blood-focused, but like also kind of dismembering framework type of mod. We're gonna be like absurdly powerful right now. By the way, we're gonna be. Oh my god! Oh my god! She's just yeeting. There's a mod that yeah, there we go. So like there goes a hand. Yeah, there's actually a specific mod that came out recently that I should get to fix that because she's yeeting herself off a hill. Don't worry, we can fix it. Oh my god! Look at that. So let's hop into Ember Shard here. By the way, some people might notice it. I'm going to change it. I'm planning to do a big graphics overhaul soon and start working on getting more set graphics. No, nobody's going to notice this. It's literally just me. In Tomatoes, Caves, and Mines, there are these rocks that are spread throughout that act really weird with parallax, and they get like warpy and like shiny, and they're gone. They're going. I mean, they're going to disable them and like parallax or make it so that we're just using a different cave and mine overhaul. I think I'm probably going to switch a bunch of stuff over to Vanaheimr. Vanaheimr's looking really good to me. All right, come here, get a little. Come here, get a little. Let's go first person for this. We don't have crazy first person animations because that's just not something you get too much of in Skyrim, but we do have what do we cut off right there? Nothing? Oh, that's right. We also his weapon launched a little bit there. I'm gonna need to tone this down. This isn't as cool of a showcase as I wanted. I literally just installed it. I haven't tweaked it at all. Man, I should have played around with it a bit. I got too much to do today. I didn't have time for it. Get on down there. Hoop! Oh, hell yeah. Parkour going crazy. Who wants some? Yeah. There's a head. There's a head right there. All right, let me take the effects are overdoing it. Let's use this. Get fewer effects going on. Hey! Oh, we're all falling off. It's okay, I can parkour back up. Oh, it's time for the BFCO water attack. Bitch. Yeah! Oh, there's a hand. Yeah, so there's this mod that just released that I haven't gotten to properly play around with yet, but it seems very promising, very cool, that we can pull up in the MCM called Sanguine Symphony. It's got dynamic impacts, immersive impact sounds, which I think are what's so loud right now. I can turn those down, turn them off, something like that. It's got blood sprays. It's got like lethal strikes, different visual effects. It can be affected differently by the body mass of the armor they're wearing. Incredibly cool mod. Literally just released, I think, yesterday, and it's 1.0. But yeah, we'll definitely make it so that it's less slow-mo, less big bassy noise when enemies are dying. But it's still going to be a very cool, promising blood mod to go along with Dismembering Framework. Again, by the same actual author. You shouldn't have done that. And then I want to say the weapon drop that's going on right now is also from a mod from the same author that I just downloaded as well. I think it's called Inertia Fix or something like that. But yeah, I think that aside should do it for the showcase for what's been done this week. There are a couple other small mods that I've implemented, but really the main thing I wanted to show off with this showcase is that we've got stances in, that we've got stance-related perks, and that I've actually started implementing a bunch of those other perks that I had showcased. You can see with the wind stance, we're so much faster there. And if we switch into earth stance, we're going to be so much slower. So getting that difference in animation from switching between stances, and just probably generally, if you're going to try and care too much about leveling into a stance, committing to one that's going to fit your playstyle. But I really mostly wanted to show that off, and then I think with the weeks to come over the next week or two, I'll be trying to get a base level implementation of what the fuck was that? Skyrim, what did you... That wasn't even a mod, that was just a Skyrim moment. Why did it do that? I can't even duplicate that again, man. I basically hit like a corner. It was just like, holy shit, let's send it. Let's absolutely send it. Yeah, we're gonna be getting stances more finished up. We're gonna be getting some more graphics mods in to kind of more finely tune the base layer of stuff I have right now. Everything right here is really just kind of an early implementation of like, hey, it looks decent. So I think Vanaheimer series is gonna be coming in. Going to be getting some city and town overhauls in soon. Going to start actually finishing up some of my NPC work soon, I think. So a lot of stuff is going to be to come over the next few weeks. But the main thing I do want to work on is getting perks more properly implemented and polished, and then leaving some room to add more perks later on. Getting stances more finished up, of course. Well, stances are finished up, but the stance-related perks that are unique. Getting unarmed going, finishing up agility and endurance as well. And then aside from that, getting some more of those actual weapon animations to go with the perks to be implemented as well. So with that, thank you all for watching. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next one.
I've been seeking for the glory. Say my name. And I've been trying to write my own story in the search for fame. I'm sitting here in this empty room, walls keep tumbling down.